Hello everyone and welcome to this Python Pandas tutorial for absolute beginners. In this tutorial, I'm going to give a brief explanation of what is Pandas, and then I'm going to cover the following. I'm going to explain what is Pandas Series and DataFrames and how to create them. Then I'm going to show you how to load an existing Excel CSV file into a Pandas data frame. I'm going to be providing that raw data in case you want to try this yourself. Then I'm going to show you how to investigate that new data frame, different ways of viewing the data frame, how to filter rows and columns, and then how to filter or slice the whole data frame itself. Then we're going to cover how to sort the data frame, and then how to summarize it and aggregate it in different ways, some minuses, counts, averages, and at the end I'm going to show you how to create new calculated fields in your existing Pandas data frame. Now, please note that the last 5 or 6 stages are basically the pre-processing stages of a machine learning project. Hence, knowing how to use Pandas is extremely useful. If you want to download this file with just the titles without the code, I'm going to have a link in the description to my GitHub repository where you can download all 3 files, which is going to be this one with just the title names, the raw data, the CSV Excel raw data that I'm going to be using, and the final file with the code in case you want to double check it. I highly recommend you do that because there is no best way of learning if you don't actually do it yourself. So you can follow this tutorial through by actually writing the code yourself and doing exactly what I do. If you don't have Python installed on your local PC, then again, I'm going to have a link in the description where I have a video about how to download and install Python for free and how to use Jupyter notebooks. Right, so what is Pandas? Pandas is a Python package or library, which is the same thing, that is used for data manipulation and data analysis. It has 2 main data structures, which is the series and the data frame, which I'm going to be covering down here. But before we do that, let's just do this step. So every time you're creating a new Python script, the first thing you should do is to bring in the libraries or packages you're about to use. And if you don't have them installed, then you have to install them and then bring them in. The way to call them now or bring them in is by saying import pandas as PD. So pandas, we always say pandas as PD because it's much easier and shorter to call it. I have also imported NumPy here as NP, as you see. If you don't know how to use NumPy, I'm going to have a link in the description where I have created a tutorial specifically for NumPy and how to use NumPy. I have also brought in Matplotlib and Seaborn here, but we're not actually going to use them for this tutorial. I'm going to be doing tutorial for these 2 later on. Now, if you don't have Pandas installed in your PC, then all you have to do is to open the terminal. So you go to Start menu, you type in Anaconda, and then you launch the Anaconda prompt. And then all you have to say is pip install pandas, and then run this, and then it's going to start installing it. So for me, it says requirement already satisfied just because I already have Pandas installed. Right, so what is Pandas Series? So series is a one-dimensional object which is very similar to a vector. So if you've watched my NumPy tutorial, then you know that a vector, which is the first example here, is a set or a grid of elements or values that have 1 dimension, which is similar to series, but it's not exactly the same thing. It's a different object. Now, to create a series, just to visualize what it is, we can say s equals pd.series, open brackets, then square brackets, and then put some values in it, which is going to be, I'm going to say 28, 1.79, which is a float. Then so I've done an integer, a float, and then I can put a string there, which is going to be a name. So my name, let's say Yannis, and then call it. So now you can see that it created a one-dimensional object that does not have an index, so row names, and it has 3 different values in it. The first one is an integer value, the second one is a float, and the third one is just a string. Now, if you want to add row names now, so an index next to it, you can simply copy this, the whole thing, paste it down here, and then after the square brackets, you can say comma, and then say index equals, and then put the name of the row name. So this is going to be age, and this is going to be height, and then the last one is going to be comma name. So as you can see, it does not matter if I use single or double quotes in Python, they work the same. So if I print this now, you can see that we have age 28, the height 1.79 cm. I can even add the cm here. It's still going to work because it's series. So anything you put in series, it works. It doesn't have to be integer, float, or string. And then the name, which is my name, Yannis. The last thing I'm going to show now, if you want to filter the index, so let's say you only want to see the age, you can say A and then square brackets and just calling age. Oops, run this. Sorry, it's not A, it's S. Sorry, I got confused. Then we run this and we see 28. Now, if I want to call the name, I can just say S name and it brings back the name. Now, as a data scientist, I don't really use Pandas Series. I mostly use DataFrames as they have a lot more functionality. Hence, I'm not going to focus on series. I'm mostly going to focus on DataFrames, which is the ones you're going to be using on a daily basis as a data scientist or a data analyst. Right, so what is a data frame? A data frame is like an Excel table. So it is a tabular data structure that comprises of both rows and columns. I also say it's like a pivot table just because you can aggregate the data the same way as you do in pivot tables by using Pandas data frames, which I'm going to show you later on. To create a data frame now, all you have to do is say df equals pd.dataframe. Make sure that you're typing data frame with the capitals because Python is case sensitive, so it's not going to work if you use lowercase. Then we open brackets and we can say columns equals open brackets, and what names did I give? Name, gender, age, and height. So name, comma, let's do, sorry, gender, age, and height. Oops. Right, let's run this now to visualize our data frame. As you can see, we have a table now that has no values in it. It just has the column names, which is name, gender, age, and height. To pass some values now in the data frame, all you have to do is say df.log and then open square brackets. We want to add this in the first row. That's why I'm saying 0. Remember, Python starts from 0, not 1. And then we can say equals, and then we can pass the values. So I want a random name. What names did I give? Joe. Then I've given male, which is the gender. And then for the age, I can say, I don't know, 23. And then for the height, I can say 1.70. And then we can run df just to visualize it. So as you can see now, we have passed our first row in the data frame. Just to add a few more, I can just copy this, paste it, and paste it. I'm going to leave it as 0 just to visualize what happens. I'm going to say this is going to be now Tom, then male, then I'm going to say 50. If I add it into quotations, it's still going to work. And then let's say 180, and then I'm going to add Tina, and I'm going to say female. I'm going to say 29, and then 179. And then we run this. As you can see, it still has one row just because we haven't changed the row here. So if every time it runs, it replaces the row because I have 0 and 0. So if I put now 1 and then 2 and run this, we have a full data frame, not the full, just 3 rows now with all the data we've passed in our data frame. Right, the next thing I'm going to show now is how to create a data frame from a list. So first step is to create a list. So I'm just going to name it a list equals, and now I have to pass the values I want in the list. I'm just going to copy them from up here because it's easier and it saves us time. So this is going to be our first row in the list, as you can see, and this is going to be our second row in the list. And then we copy the list and paste it just to visualize it. So now we have a list that has the first row here and the second row here. To pass this list now into a data frame, all we have to do is say df equals pd.dataframe, open brackets. The first thing we have to put is the list, so I've put the list here, and the second thing is the columns, so I can say columns equals, and now I need the column names. I need to have 1, 2, 3, 4 column names, and I'm just going to copy them from up here because they are the same column names. So I can copy this, paste it down here, and then run df just to view our data frame. So as you can see, we've recreated the data frame. Obviously, we only have 2 rows now, but now we have used a list and we passed that list into a data frame. Right, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to create a data frame from a NumPy array. So first we have to create our array. So I'm going to say a equals np.arrange. I'm going to use 15 numbers, 15, and then just to visualize it, so you know how it works. So now we have a one-dimensional array, and I just want to reshape this using NumPy. Again, if you don't know how to use NumPy, I highly recommend you should watch that first tutorial I have. And I want to reshape this into 5 by 3. So now we have a 5 by 3 array. And what we want is to take this array and put it into a data frame. So basically add column names and put it into a table. To do this, we can say df equals pd.dataframe, open brackets, and then here we're going to put the a, and then we can have columns equals, and then we need the column names. So we can say A, B, and C, because we have 1, 2, 3 column names. So B, not C. And then we run the data frame. What have I done? I am missing code here, run. Sorry. So as you can see now, we've taken A. So let's just print A so you see what A was before. Oh, come on. So this is how A was before, and now we've taken this and we have put it into a data frame. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to take this data frame and transpose it. Transposing it means that I want to take the columns and turn it into rows, and I want to take the rows and turn it into columns. So just reshape it, pivot it basically. So there's 2 ways of doing this. The first method is just say df.T. We run this, and as you can see, it took the columns and it made them rows, and it took the rows and it made them columns. The second way of doing it is through NumPy. So you can say np.trans. I don't think that is capital. Transpose. And then say df, and I run this, I get exactly the same result. So again, it takes the columns and it turns it into rows. By the way, if you feel that you're getting enough value out of this video, I would highly appreciate it if you click that like button and subscribe to my channel. Right, the next thing I'm going to show you now is how to load a CSV Excel file into a data frame. So you can download this Excel file from my GitHub repository, which I'm going to have a link in the description. So you can follow the steps I'm doing and load that data into Python and then into a data frame. So after you download the file, so when you follow the link, you need to save that file anywhere you want in your PC, and then click on the path here and then copy your path. Then you go back into Python. I was about to say SQL. And here, when it says loading the data, you can say raw data. So I'm just going to name this file now as raw data equals pd.read_CSV, because that is a CSV file and it's called marketing. What was the name? Marketing raw data. We open brackets, then we open codes, and we paste that path. Something you need to be careful now in Python, we need to use double forward backspace or slash. I don't remember how it's called, but just do this. Just use doubles in every connection. And then after the final folder, which I have here, introduction to pandas, I want to copy the name of the file. So copy it, paste it, and say .csv because it's a CSV file. And then we run it. And as you can see, it ran fine. And then if I copy the raw data and paste it, so just call it to visualize it, you can see that I have exactly the same data. So if I open the file, so you can actually see what's going on. In this file, I have date, day name, visitors, revenue, marketing spend, and promo. And if I go into Python, I should have exactly the same data. So date, day name, visitors, revenue, marketing spend, and promo. If you want to know your current working directory, so where is Python pointing at the moment, you can run this code I have up here. So if I run this os operating system.get current working directory, it says that I'm currently pointing in this direction. C users, PC, desktop, Python tutorial. So if you save your file into this direction and then you just copy this and paste it down here, it should work fine. Right, so this is how we load data from a CSV file into Python, and more specifically into a data frame. This is something that you will do very often as a data analyst or a data scientist if Python is not connected to the source, which is the database. Right, now if you want to run all the data, we've actually done it, so let me just move this here. If you want to display the first 5 rows, because it's not convenient to have all this data like this, we can just say row data dot head and then run this, and it's going to display the first 5 rows. If you want to see the first 10 rows, you can simply say 10 here and then run it. Now we have the first 10. Or if you want to see just the first one, you click 1 and then you're only going to see the first row. Yes, correct. Now the next one runs a number of rows. Oh, this is actually what I've shown you here. So let me just put it here. So now you know how to load raw data into Python, and more specifically into a data frame. Right, so now we're going to go through some basic methods for investigating this new raw data frame that we've just brought in. The first thing I'm going to show you is the opposite of raw data.head. So instead of displaying the first 5 rows, we can copy this, paste it, and replace head with tail, and run this, and this selects the last 5 rows of our data frame. Pretty self-explanatory. The next thing is the shape. So if I say raw data.shape, I can see that I have a total of 182 rows and 6 columns. So this, again, very helpful to know how to use. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to display some basic information about our data frame. So if I type in raw data.info and then open brackets, this is going to give me some basic information about the data frame as a whole and about the type of each column. So the first thing we see is that we have a total of 182 entries. So this is the number of lines we have, and it counts from 0 to 181 as Python, as I said before, starts counting from 0. The next thing we see is that we have a total of 6 columns. We can actually see the columns up here, and then we get information per column. So the number of entries per column, and then the object, if we have any null values, we don't have any null values, and then the type of the column. So we can see that date is mapped as object, which is not ideal. We want to change date into datetime. Day name is object, is fine, then integer, fine, integer, then float, and then object, which is good. Right, so now we want to change the date to be date time. So we want to have date time, not object, so we can apply some date calculations in our data frame. To do this now, what you can do is say pd.datetime. Do we have underscore in datetime? No, it's one word, pd.datetime. We open brackets. First, we need to select the column that we want to change. So to select a single column, I need to show you this first before I run it. I can just to call one column, I can just say raw data, then brackets, then quotes, and then the name of the column. So the name of the column is going to be date. Copy it, I paste it, I run it. Now I select all the data from one column. Another way of doing it is just saying raw data and then putting the dot date. It's still gonna work. It does exactly the same thing. The reason we have the one with the brackets in it is because if we had space, so marketing spend, for example, is not gonna work by using the second method. So I recommend always use the first method just to get used to it. Right, let's just delete this now. We don't need it. Right, so back to datetime now. I need to change this actually. It should be to datetime, not just datetime. So I can say pd.toDatetime and then just put the column name that I've just shown you. So first we need the data frame and then the name of the column. And then if I run this now, it did actually convert date into from an object to date now, but it also switched the format, if you've noticed. So now we have more like American dates, which are not really correct. So to do this, we also need to specify the format. I'm saying it's not correct because if you check the first date I have here is the 9th of November 2020, but down here is actually the 11th of November 2020. So I can just say comma format equals and then quotations, and then I need to put I need the date, and then slash, I need the month, then slash, and then I need the year. And then if I press enter now, so we can see now is the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Up here we have the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. So always please be very careful when you're converting dates that you're actually converting to the right thing. Now I need to pass these values back to raw data, so I can simply select the first column. So I copy this and then I paste it and I say equals. So now I'm actually passing it back to the data frame. So if I run this now and then I run the whole data frame just to view it, we can see that it changed the format 9, 10, 11. And if we run the info now, so I copy and paste the info, we should have a different, there we go. Now we have daytime 64 versus an object that we had over here. Right. The last thing I'm going to show you now is how to display some summary statistics. So this is very simple. We copy again the raw data here, the data frame, and we say .describe. And then we run this, and what this is giving us some summary statistics. So it's giving us the count by all numeric columns. So if you've noticed, it only kept visitors, revenue, and marketing spend. And this is because they are the only numeric columns. So visitors, integer, revenue, integer, marketing spend, float. And we can get the count, the mean, the max value, the standard deviation, and some more basic statistics. Right, so this is it for this video. I'm gonna finish the rest of the tutorial in the next video, as I do want to keep these videos short so you can actually learn how to do things. And the next video is going to be uploaded within the next 3 days, so please enable notifications to know exactly when the next video is going to be uploaded. If you did like this video, I would appreciate it if you click the like button and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions around the things I've done or the things I've shown, please let me know in the comments below and I can pick it up. Thank you very much for watching.